Hi and welcome to Your Relationship Roadmap. My name's Keith Flynn and I'm here again with Mr. Michael Worthington to continue our series of the top 5 issues that I have to deal with clients.
Keith, you certainly have a challenging job. You're very good at it, and what I do like is your rapidness of actually helping people with their issues. But there must be some issues in one of your top 5 that you're going to talk about today that must be very, very challenging to deal with. And that is going to be what you said to me off air. You're going to talk about affairs. Goodness me.
Yep. Do you realise that actually affairs aren't the worst thing for a relationship?
Oh, really? Okay. We can do something worse.
Absolutely.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I don't want to distract you from your topic, but now you've got my curiosity and probably everyone else's. What is the worst? What's worse than affairs?
Well, think about this. If someone has an affair and perhaps they've gone out one night, got a bit drunk, carried away, slept with somebody, in the morning they ring up their wife or partner and go, "Look, honey, last night I made a real big mistake. I had an affair."
Mm-hmm.
The partner's going to be pretty pissed. She's going to be pretty upset.
Yeah.
But he's told her and he's been honest about it.
Right.
And now they've got to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Next stage. Someone goes out, gets drunk, has an affair, and then is trying to work out the best time to tell her or hoping she never finds out.
Okay.
And it might be 3 or 4 or 5 months down the track, he fesses up.
Okay.
He's taken responsibility to tell her. That's going to be worse than the first case because she will want to know immediately when it's happened. She's going to wonder why he's waited so long.
Right. Okay.
Same scenario. But instead of him telling her, 6 months down the track, the girl he slept with calls her up and tells her.
Well, I'm sure we've all heard stories like that before.
What gets even worse is he's slept with her twice. Once you can get away with, but when you sleep with someone twice, that's taking it to another level.
Yeah, that's a bit more than just a mistake, if you could call it a mistake.
That's starting to become some engagement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there's something even worse.
Okay. They have an affair for many, many years, and you find out.
Well, yeah, but that's sort of like the last scenario.
Okay.
Because you see, when, in the case of someone slept twice or more, it doesn't matter the time period now,
Right.
the thing that you've done is broken trust completely.
Yeah.
And you've created the worst thing that, in my opinion, that can happen in a relationship.
Right.
You've created doubt.
Okay.
Because now she's going to question everything in the relationship, whether they've been together 2 years or 20 years. Because in her mind, she's going to be thinking, if you can do this and not tell me, what else have you done that you haven't told me about? Her whole foundation for the relationship has been ripped from under her.
So when you pose that in that framing, does that mean, or can it mean, that if it's done immediately, there's a possibility of salvaging it? But if it's done in those latter ones where it's a repeated offence and maybe you haven't told her, somebody else has told her or him, that the likelihood of repairing that damage is a lot less?
It depends on the individuals.
Right.
I've got a simple expression, which is, so long as there's love, willingness to work, and a willingness to change, miracles can happen.
Right. Okay.
So in all the scenarios, I've dealt with people in all of those scenarios, and all of those relationships are still surviving.
Wow. I've got to ask you, so I suppose someone in a situation, maybe they feel tempted, maybe whatever, maybe they haven't had the affair yet, but it's gone through their head. Why? Why do people, I mean, a mistake, even that to me comes like, I don't know about that. You know, you might be a bit drunk, but a mistake is still stretching it a bit. What causes that in the first place? Is it there's already a root problem in the relationship?
To be honest, Michael, there's a simple answer, but really I think we need to do this in another video.
Okay. Yeah.
And actually, I'm working on actually doing a module in my course which will go into much more detail because there's many, many reasons why.
Okay.
There's not just one simple reason.
Okay.
So, for example, one of the common patterns when people have affairs is I'll ask if either of their parents have had affairs. So again, we go back to the childhood thing. If parents have had affairs, there's a high probability that the child will have an affair because it's normal to the child.
Okay.
So that's one pattern. Broadly, there's another pattern where people are unhappy in a relationship and they meet someone to meet their needs, and then it goes outside the relationship.
Yeah.
But again, like really, we could spend a decent chunk, and that's why I'm going to do a module in the online course to help people with that.
So someone who's had an affair then, so we've got to the affair, say we take the first scenario, but they've actually fessed up and she said, or they've said, we need to come and see Keith. And where do you start with something like that, Keith? How do you start helping people mend that damage that has been done?
When I'm working with people in the session, I make it very, very clear that I've got to create a framework. So we've really got to understand the structure of relationships before we deal with any issue in the relationship. Okay. So for me, this is just another issue.
Yeah. Okay.
See, like in our video on abuse,
yes,
it's the same sort of thing. There's an issue coming up that's causing someone a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. But when people need to understand the structure of relationships so that we've then got that framework to look at it in. And what I'm pointing out is the foundations of their relationship were too weak to start with.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what the issue is, we create the framework, then we can deal with the issue inside of it, because what we want to do is, in a sense, take the emotion out as much as possible to get people to objectively look at it and then actually understand how each of them have contributed to the situation. Because otherwise what you get is one person blaming the other.
That is probably a totally different take than I've ever heard anyone else say. Each of them contributing to that situation. Listen, it's like in one of your other videos, and please excuse me, there's 3 on arguments, abuse, and I can't remember the other one. Anger. And again, you talk quite a lot about people accepting responsibility to control their own emotions. If you haven't watched those videos, they're absolutely brilliant. This, again, is one of those insights that I think will come as a little bit of a startle to people going, I didn't have the affair. How did I contribute to it?
Well, there's always science. You know, affairs don't happen when you've got a healthy, strong relationship. Okay. If we go right back to the original series that we did,
yes,
and when I'm talking about connections, one of the ways I talk about connections now is that think of a relationship like a chain.
Yeah.
Because in that video I talked about spiritual connection, intellectual connection, emotional connection, physical connection, sexual connection.
Yes.
Those were the levels to connect on. Yeah. So think about that as a chain. Now, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So if you get any weak links, like if someone's unhappy in a relationship and they meet someone at work who's also unhappy in their relationship and their partner's not listening to them and they find someone who will listen to them, then all of a sudden the emotional connection in the relationship chain is weakening and a new chain is building.
Right.
So it's like that link's going from one chain to another. Now this chain is being broken. Now, because you may have 2 people unhappy in a relationship, the other partner, let's say it's the man who's unhappy talking to another woman at work, the wife may be unhappy, but she's been putting up with this, thinking things are better because she's totally committed to the marriage and the relationship, and she's just waiting for it to repair, but she's unaware that the emotional connection has actually shifted because the emotional connection has been reduced, it's dying, but it's actually gone and shifted.
Okay.
And then you have an emotional connection starting up, which can turn into a physical connection. Now you've just lost 2 links of the chain.
I love it how you put it so succinctly.
Relationships are simple. I'm not saying they're easy. I'm just saying that they're actually really, really simple.
You have a very insightful way of just nailing right down to those points and putting them in play. And people would go, that sounds obvious. Why didn't I see it before? But yeah, it's really, for someone who's gone through that and they've gone through maybe they've had an affair, they want to come and see someone like yourself. Do you have any advice for them when they're coming to see how they should approach the repairing, or is it just come and see me first and I will guide you through a structure?
Look, as I said earlier, it's about creating the structure and the framework.
Yes.
And again, I've mentioned it before, people are often unaware of the pain and the hurt their decisions and choices are causing. So sometimes people are having the affair and not actually thinking it's going to cause any damage.
Right.
As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just think, well, it won't matter.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can have people who have an affair and still love their wife and family and think everything's fine. It's like they're living in 2 separate worlds.
Okay. Bit like the travelling salesman stories you hear.
Yeah.
We won't mention any particular golfers. But is that their mentality? They think, well, I've got this happy home, but I'm not at home at the moment, so it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Wow.
And so part of what I do in the session is help people become aware of the damage and pain that they've caused.
Right.
And it really hits people often like with a sledgehammer when they actually really see what they've done and the impact it's caused.
I got to say, and we don't normally do adverts on videos, but I got to say, what's the best way of contacting you? Because I just think this is one of those situations. I think there's going to be a lot of people going, look, I might not have had the affair, but I've thought about it, or I've had the affair, we want to fix it. And I know you don't normally advertise on your videos, but Keith, what is the best way of contacting you?
Look, my website, my personal website is keithflynn.com.au.
Yeah.
So you can always contact me through my personal website. Also on this channel's linked to the yourrelationshiproadmap.com. Also on that website there's a link to me as well under the relationship specialists.
Because I know this is a very difficult subject and it is tailored to everybody. And I know you always say, don't advertise on my videos, Michael, but this one is different. I think this one's really important. I'd like to give people the opportunity to contact you immediately if they've got something like this going on. That is a tough topic, my friend. Wow. And you've got 2 more to do, another one to do.
Well, we haven't even covered what was the worst thing to do in a relationship.
I like your memory. And you see what happened? You give me all that good stuff and I've gone, wow, now I've just gone, and I even forgot what is the worst thing to do in a relationship?
Broken promises. If someone consistently breaks promises in a relationship, that will destroy more trust and more integrity than an affair.
Wow.
Because how can you trust a partner who doesn't keep their promises?
You know, you say that and even my mind flicks to people that I've known. Said, oh, he never does what he says. He always says, oh, we'll go on holiday next year. We'll go on holiday next year. We're going, and then you hear the wife say, I know we're not going.
Yeah.
Broken promises. Wow.
Particularly if you break the promise that you'll never have an affair again.
I have no answer for that one. Once again, your insightfulness and directness is just floored me. It's been absolutely fantastic being in the studio with you again, talking about a very, very difficult subject. And look, I don't want to make any judgments on anybody, and that's why I wanted them to have access to you. We'll definitely put the links underneath. And yeah, and I do think that's important when people come to you. You're without judgment.
It's just working out. Like in my world, I view everyone as being whole and perfect as they are, and they're right in their own world. It's just sometimes they're not making the best choices. So it's about giving people more choices. That's why, I've done the online course. There's over 40 different strategies that people can implement to give them more choices in their relationship to improve their communication.